Let's jump right in. Today, we're looking into the tragic news that's been making headlines, the Regal Princess crew member overboard incident. Out of deep respect for the crew member who lost their life, we're going to keep this explainer incredibly focused. We'll walk through exactly what happened and how the maritime authorities responded to this heartbreaking situation. So, what exactly happened on the Regal Princess? Well, what started out as a totally standard leisure cruise suddenly turned into a massive, full-scale emergency off the coast of Cancun, Mexico. A crew member tragically went overboard into the ocean. It's one of those split-second critical scenarios that literally instantly changes every single protocol on a ship.
Part 1. The beginning of the journey and the tragic incident.
Let's put the scale of this vessel into perspective. 3,560. That is the massive passenger capacity of the Regal Princess. You know, this voyage started out just like any other. It departed from Port Everglades down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on Saturday, July 11th. Thousands of people had boarded, completely unaware of the tragedy that was about to unfold. The original plan, a pretty standard 7-day Western Caribbean sailing. By Monday, July 13th, the ship was en route near Cancun, making its way toward a scheduled stop in Cozumel, Mexico. And up to that very point, everything was running perfectly on schedule. Right up until it wasn't. Cruise tracking data actually showed this drastic, sudden course correction. The Regal Princess completely aborted its path to Cozumel and executed a really sharp turnaround right there in open water. And the reason? They were initiating an urgent, massive search and rescue operation after getting the report of the crew member overboard. It is a really stark reminder of the rigorous, immediate protocols these ships activate to try and save lives. Moving to Part 2, the joint search and rescue efforts. The response here was incredibly fast, and it was highly collaborative. It wasn't just the Regal Princess crew out there searching alone. Local Mexican maritime authorities jumped right in to help. And notably, you really see maritime solidarity take over in moments like this. The Carnival Jubilee, a ship completely unrelated to this voyage, diverted from its own Galveston to Honduras route just to assist. When lives are on the line, the unwritten law of the sea absolutely demands that kind of cooperation. But despite all of those massive, coordinated efforts, the outcome was, sadly, incredibly tragic. Princess Cruises released an official statement confirming with deep sadness the passing of their crew member. Naturally, identities were withheld in those initial reports to protect the family's privacy during such an unimaginably devastating time. It's just a very somber acknowledgement of the real, inherent risks faced by the people working out at sea. The cruise line's focus quickly had to shift toward the human toll. Beyond offering their heartfelt condolences to the victim's family and friends, they deployed immediate grief support services and counseling. Because, crisis management at sea, it isn't just about the physical logistics or setting up search grids. It's deeply rooted in supporting the psychological well-being of the thousands of guests and fellow crew members who are impacted by such a sudden, shocking loss. Part 3. The repercussions of the incident and route changes. So the logistical impact of this emergency was practically instant. That originally scheduled July 13th arrival in Cozumel, it was entirely canceled and replaced by the emergency turnaround in those search operations. Managing an active crisis of this magnitude really means completely upending the intricate travel plans of thousands of people in the blink of an eye. You always have to prioritize life over leisure. From there, the cruise line really had to scramble to adjust the rest of the voyage. They slotted in a stop in Belize for July 14th just to keep the ship moving. And that canceled Cozumel stop, it was pushed back and successfully rescheduled for July 16th. Honestly, it's a massive feat of maritime logistics, reorganizing international port schedules completely on the fly under such deeply tragic circumstances. Despite that massive initial disruption, the back half of the voyage did eventually stabilize. The planned stop in Roatan, Honduras went ahead entirely unchanged. And crucially, the ship stayed right on its original schedule for a July 18th return home to Fort Lauderdale. Getting a floating city of this size back on track requires just an immense amount of operational coordination. So, while incredibly rare, incidents like this do force us to ask some tough questions. What do these tragedies reveal about the inherent, ever-present risks of maritime operations? And how effectively do rapid emergency protocols balance the heavy weight of human tragedy with the complex logistics of moving a cruise ship? It's definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining me for this explainer.